Hello? Ooh, that's rather loud. Good evening, everybody. If you could please take your seats. We'll begin in about 2 or 3 minutes, so if you could please take your seats. Thank you.
Board of Directors and the staff at the Children's Advocacy Center, Benton County. I'm Chip Jackson.
And my name is John Scholes.
And we'd like to welcome you to the 10th Annual Cherishing Children Dinner. We are really glad you're here tonight. Thank you for responding to the invitation of your table host. It's going to be a great evening, and one of the things that we're about this evening is just examining the whole concept of why. Why are you here? Why are we here? Why is John here? I know one reason John's here has been I needed a friend from Great Britain who liked Thai food. And I found one in John who happens to serve. We serve together on the board, and that's not the real reason that we're here, other than John and I missed a couple of board meetings and were assigned to the task, and so we decided not to miss any more board meetings at the CAC. John, recently, I went over to Taco Bueno, of all places.
They don't have Taco Bueno in England.
I know, man. We need to do something about that. You know, and as I went to Taco Bueno the other day, I went to order a big old burrito, the Bob. You've probably done one yourself, chicken or beef or combo, there anything around that. And they sent the order out with this cup. And the cup says, "Why do we do it?" And it points you to their website. And so I went to Taco Bueno's website to see why they do Bob's, and it's pretty interesting. It's all about having fresh food, friendly service, and that type of stuff tonight. What we want to look at tonight is why do we do what we do at the Children's Advocacy Center here in Benton County, because there is a why, and we're all here tonight because of that why, and we're all here tonight because we have life experiences and stories that are somehow connected to that why. My why is this: when I was 10 years of age, I was abused as a child, and all the shame and all the confusion and all the hurt that goes along with the nature of abuse. And for 25 years, I couldn't find a voice. I didn't know how to articulate what had happened to me, and so it wasn't until I was 35 that I was able to find words to begin to express with trusted friends what had gone on in my life. Our why here at the CAC is simply this: eliminate child abuse. And our mission is, our what, is to empower children to have a voice. And so that's why we're here tonight. And I'd like to turn it over to my good Brit friend who loves Thai food, John, to talk about your why.
Cheers, Chip. Chip actually thinks I'm from the UK. Actually, I'm from Texarkana. But he's from Alabama, so what does he know? My why goes back probably 21 years. I've got two great kids. One is 21 years old and one's 16 years old, Haley and Jack. And you'll see probably Haley coming in here tonight after work about 10 to 7, so she'll be sitting on table 1. 21 years ago, my daughter was born 14 weeks early. 14 weeks from tonight is January the 1st. So think about that. She weighed 1 pound 12 ounces, and she was 11 and a half inches long, and her skin was translucent. She was like a skinned rabbit. And we spent 6 months in intensive care in the intensive care unit. And Haley came through. She's visually impaired now, but she came through fit and strong, and you'll see her tonight. So while we were in there, I saw a lot of children suffer. I saw a lot of children die. I saw a lot of families suffer. And that stuck with me, obviously. My son, he's 16. He was born 12 weeks early, and he was a whopping great 2 pounds. So, and it's 7 years apart, so he's doing great as well. So they're both great. But anyway, we went through it twice. And I came to Northwest Arkansas, and I went up to the CAC one day, and I went into the medical room, and I saw stars on the wall, and I saw kids' names on those stars, and I saw a couple of kids' names more than once, and that's my why, because I saw kids suffer. Some kids suffered, it was just medical stuff, but the kids that we're trying to eliminate child abuse for, they don't need to suffer, and that's why I'm here tonight. That's my why.
Yes. And you have a why. You might want to go ahead and start thinking about your why. why are you here tonight? Maybe it's because you were invited to be here, or perhaps there's a story to be told. Perhaps there is a life change experience to be shared. So be thinking about that. One of the joys of sitting on the board and hanging out with my good friend John, and every time we get together, it's always fun. It's kind of like Duck Dynasty and Buckingham Palace come together. And sometimes it gets really chaotic down on our end of the table, and heading up all the chaos and trying to rein it back in is Ron Branscombe. And Ron, if you'd come on up, he is our board chair, and he is going to share a little bit of his why and then lead us in the blessing as we get ready to eat the food. So Ron, good to see you, friend, in this context.
Fellow board members, look what happens when you miss a meeting. Just FYI.
Yeah.
My why resonates with, I had a friend invite me to take a tour of the CAC roughly almost 5 years ago. And when I took that tour, I met Beverly, and I had met David and Beverly before, and I knew they had a ministry heart. And I knew ministry was big in their life. But when I took the tour of the CAC, it was amazing what Christ-like attitude they had and what they were showing to others and to these children. And it's not only the children, it's the families. And so I totally bought in that this is a ministry, and that's my why, the Christ-likeness. Please bow your head as we bless the food. Dear Father, thank you for this time that we get to come together and glorify you and praise you. I just pray that you'll bless this food and help it to nourish our body. Thank you for the hands that have prepared it. And God, I just pray that you will pierce our hearts, challenge us, as your word challenges us, to eliminate child abuse. And Father, we don't understand why things happen. We know you are in control. But we just praise you and thank you for the many, many blessings you bestow upon us. For it's in your Son, Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. You may partake in food right now.
All good organizations are made up of good, if not sometimes great people. And to see people come together around a common why, and they bring their personal why and their personal sense of mission and vision to a corporate sense of mission and vision, just things come into alignment. And here at the CAC, we have several of our staff that are that way, and we'd like to introduce to you Natalie Tibbs tonight. She is the Assistant Director of the Children's Advocacy Center of Benton County, and she serves many roles. She's one of those type leaders and one of those type staff members that just turns the bill on the hat a dozen times a day. As well as serving as Assistant Director, Natalie serves as the Sexual Assault Nurse Examiner. And welcome Natalie to the stage.
Well, good evening. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedules to come. I know weeknights are so busy with sports and family activities and things, so just thank you so much for coming tonight. And kind of not planned, but I have to share my why. And I have many whys as to why I would be part of this organization. But because we don't have 3 hours, I'll spare you some of that. But my why is, why not? You know, when you know about something like child abuse and how that exists and what happens to these children and what, you know, the stories that they tell, when you hear that story, how can you walk away and go, oh, that's nice, I'm glad somebody else is doing that? Why not? And so I knew God's calling 8 years ago that this is exactly where I needed to be in spending my nursing education, because I knew hospital was not for me. But since opening its doors in January of 2000, the Children's Advocacy Center has provided services for nearly 5,000 children. Think about that. anywhere from 75 to 115 children are coming through our doors every single week to receive services. Child abuse is a reality, and it exists right here in our community. But it is the mission, as Chip had shared earlier, and the ultimate desire of our center, that every single child that walks through our doors can immediately feel safe. And that starts even as soon as seeing that teddy bear out front. If you were here last year, you'll remember I was leaving my speech to go to the center. And when I had gotten to the Children's Advocacy Center for an after-hours case, the young 9-year-old little girl told me during her medical examination, I was so scared. I was so scared where I could be going. All I knew is that police showed up to my home, and my dad was crying, and my mom was crying, and the whole way we were going to this place that I never thought or knew what I was going to, and I was so scared what would happen. But then we came around the corner, and I saw this teddy bear and this rainbow sign, and I knew I was going to be okay. It's our mission that we can empower a child to find their voice, whether it's through their advocacy support that they receive, through their forensic interview that will take place, through a medical examination, through their counseling sessions, no matter what aspect our center is providing, that we are able to empower them. I have to share with you about this teenage girl that came and was there for an interview, and oh, she was angry. We've seen a lot of very angry children for lots of different reasons. 16 years old and had a lot to be angry about. She's been in foster care for a long time, and every caregiver that was ever placed in her life was somebody that didn't take proper care of her. She was angry, and now she had made a decision with somebody, and it has led her to the Children's Advocacy Center. And when I walked into the room to talk about a medical, believe me, the medical examination was the last thing on her mind. She wanted out of there. She felt betrayed by the system, betrayed by the counselors. So who was this strange girl walking in? Because I was surely just somebody else to betray her. And I got an opportunity to just sit there and let her yell. It's okay. I knew she wasn't yelling at me. I knew she wasn't angry at me. But she just needed to say, I'm so hurt that nobody has ever really truly cared about me. And she told me about the abuse that she's experienced by her mother, how she never cared, by her father. And why would you care? You don't even know me. And I said, you're right. I don't know you. But I can tell you that I do care. Through that moment, it wasn't about providing a medical examination. It was just allowing her to be heard, allowing her to tell her story. Each child that comes through our center absolutely needs to know that they are surrounded by people who truly care about them, who believe them, who are specifically trained to deal with what it is that they may have gone through, and to work with them and want nothing more than to offer them hope for tomorrow. With numbers like 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys being sexually abused by the age of 18, or estimations of child abuse being 10 times greater than the rate of cancer, you would look at our vision of eliminating child abuse as being quite a task, maybe even nearly impossible. How do you eliminate child abuse? It's a choice. Child abuse is a choice that somebody is making on a daily basis to harm a child. It's not a disease. It's not something you wake up and go, I think I'm a perpetrator. I need to go to my doctor. Surely he can fix this. No, it's a conscious decision to harm a child. So how do you eliminate that? Why would we have that as our vision? Because with every small thing we do, we have an opportunity to maybe make a difference in this child's life so that we don't have the re-victimization rates and we don't have that cycle of abuse. 1/3 of all children will later abuse their own children. We can end that cycle, and it starts right here with primary prevention. So again, advocacy, interviewing, medical, counseling, but another is community education. The Children's Advocacy Center has added that to our purpose in going out into the community and providing awareness of the reality that we have, and we are so honored that this year we have an opportunity. If you were here last year, you heard Erin Marin talk about getting sexual abuse education into schools. My friends, we're doing that. We are doing that. We have an opportunity to go into 3 schools this year. We didn't wait for legislation to tell us when and how. We said, let's just do this. And we're going to do this primary prevention for 1st through 5th graders starting this year. I am so excited. The kids are finally going to have an opportunity to know what it is, the reality, and also learn about other things that they may encounter on a daily basis. This fight against child abuse could not be possible if it weren't for you. If it weren't for you saying, you know what, let's not brush this under the rug anymore. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about child abuse. It's not fluffy. I can't bring you pictures of all these children that I've done exams on or that I've sit and listened to or counseled. But I can tell you that it's real. Look at the faces of each of your own children. 1 and 4, 1 and 6. It's possible it could be one of yours. So we want to sit here and we want to thank you for your support and for listening to the reality. And as I say that, I would like to introduce our executive director, Beverly Engel, as she shares about some of our community partners.
Another hat that Natalie wears is being our daughter. That may be the most difficult one. Actually, about a week ago, Abigail, Natalie's daughter, our granddaughter, came into my office and she put her little hand on her hip, sassy as she can be, and she said, "Mimi, we're going to Paragould to see my Meemaw on Friday. Mimi, you need to cancel work." In other words, what Abby was saying was, sometimes her mommy misses lots of events, and sometimes because of work that Abigail does not understand right now. What Natalie tells her children is that mommy has to go help children who are hurting. But Abigail was insistent that Mimi needed to cancel work. You know, we all wish that we could cancel work. We all wish that what we did at the CAC was something that we could take a true vacation from. But that's what we're working on as a community, to eliminate child abuse. But I would like to just share with you 6 actual scenarios that came to us just on one day recently, so that you will see what our staff of advocates, interviewers, medical, and counseling work with on a daily basis. At 9:00 a.m., a child disclosed sexual abuse by a friend of her grandfather's and by a biological father. At 10:30, a child was interviewed who was a victim of child pornography. At 1:00, a child received services and was interviewed who was one of 4 daughters who was molested by her father. And the day's not over. At 3:00, a child was interviewed and disclosed that he was molested by his older brother. At 4:00, a child was interviewed, well, a child to me, a young teenager, who was having consensual sex with an adult. At 5:00, a 4-year-old disclosed being molested by an uncle. That's just one day, and that's just one recent day. That's not a month. You know, when we tell people that last year we opened 649 cases, But I can guarantee you, we cannot do what we do by ourselves. And within this room is a team of investigators, Arkansas State Police, law enforcement, our board of directors. You know, all of these people are working together because they all have a why and they do what they do. Whenever we talk to people and share stories like this, people will say to us, wow, how can you do what you do? There is no way I could do that. And I've learned to say, I know. But you know what? We could not do what we do without a community of supporters. And absolutely, whether you're the United Way, who has been a part of the CAC from its inception, and truly been the only check that we knew was coming in the mail monthly. Whether you're the United Way or whether you're Bill Sherwood, who actually has been to every dinner we've ever had and whose check has come in the mail every month. You know, that's the kind of family of supporters that the CAC has. And we're so grateful. But we're here tonight to honor 3 different groups of individuals who have made an incredible impact on the CAC. And this impact is not just for this year or for this time, but this impact is for lasting. And you know, we are a village. We are an army that's protecting and defending with one goal in mind: to eliminate child abuse. But we as a staff could not do what we do without you as a community holding up our hands, praying for us, encouraging, supporting us. Can you even imagine what it was like for our team members to deal with those things? And you know, and just as a side note, did you pick up that 4 of those cases was a child being molested by a father, 2 by a father, grandfather, an uncle? These are not strangers. That's hard. And I will have to say, our interviewer was actually coming down with a stomach virus. She was the only one there that day to do it. Now, can you add that on top of doing this? And she did an amazing job. But thank you. We are now going to honor some community people, some individuals who have impacted these children's life and made it possible for us to do what we do.
Okay, thank you, Beverly. Before we do that, I've got a nice piece of chicken and salmon down there that's going cold, and I'm sure some of you guys have as well. But just give yourselves sort of 10 minutes to hear those words really from Beverly and what that really means before we do the awards. So thank you very much for your attention. In about 10 minutes, we'll start the awards. Thank you, Beverly. Give her a round of applause, please.
Hope you enjoyed that salmon and chicken. Thanks for the special order over there, Brad Godwin. Appreciate you making that all work on our table number 5. Hey, we want to move into some recognition here of individuals who've not only embraced and advanced the mission and the vision of the CAC, they actually model it. And so I'd like again for Beverly to make some awards presentations here. Is that correct? Of the individuals? Okay, here we go. John?
So the first award, and make no apologies for reading this, the first award is the One with Courage Award. And what we're going to do, we're going to read about the recipient, and then we're going to call the recipient up onto the stage to accept the award. So the first award, as I said, is the One with Courage Award. And that goes to Stephanie Abernathy. and this is Stephanie's story. Stephanie Abernathy is from Atlanta, Georgia, where she grew up with her 2 younger siblings and her parents. At the age of 17, she tragically lost her mother to alcohol and prescription drug abuse after a 10-year battle with depression. When Stephanie was 19, she, along with her younger sister Caroline, spoke out for the first time about sexual abuse and the experience at the hands of their maternal grandfather. Stephanie and Caroline went through the process of the criminal prosecution of their perpetrator and discovered that their mother had been abused by this person as well. Through the revelation of their mother's abuse, as well as their own, Stephanie has committed herself to speaking up and giving a voice to other children who may be experiencing the same thing. Upon moving to Northwest Arkansas, Stephanie became involved with the Children's Advocacy Center, volunteering her time with the mental health component and also sharing her story during corporate breakfast meetings, engaging potential companies in the area of child abuse. She is definitely a person with courage, and because of this courage, she has empowered others to find their voice, both children and adults. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to the stage to accept the One with Courage Award, Stephanie Abernathy. You'll notice there's a box of Kleenex on the table. I'm going to give this mic to Stephanie now to say a few words, and you might need it.
I'm not going to lie, I'm super nervous, so bear with me. First, I would like to say thank you to the Children's Advocacy Center for the outpouring of love and support that I have received from them this past year. Through my time volunteering at the CAC, I have learned the power of speaking out and breaking the silence. When I first came to the CAC to meet with Miss Beverly, I had no idea the